Hey there, Sifu Al Perhacs, author, creator, visionary behind the Mind Force method of high performance esoteric training. And in this video, I'm going to discuss something that you asked for because I got a lot of emails about it, and that is the dark side of Qi and Mind Force. Several years ago, I came out with a system, a course, a master class, if you will, on the dark side of Mind Force and Qi, right? And it was an immediate bestseller. Every time I bring it out, people clamor to get it on one side. And then there's also a bunch of other people that are like, I don't want to hear it, and they unsubscribe, and that's fine. And what I want you to understand as we talk a little bit about this is an uncomfortable part of Mind Force and Qi, because it's reality, and you'll know it as reality. So as you watch this video and you recognize what I explained to you, and as you understand it, you're going to realize how real it is in your life. And it might shock you. It might scare you. It might make you really uncomfortable. But here's the thing, is that we're going to run into these things. And I'm going to talk about what these things are, right? So just between you and me and off the record, let's talk about the dark side of Qi and Mind Force. So you can understand where I'm coming from with this, is that, you know, when I got started with the Qi, I was a martial artist. I was a very conservative Christian, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you can be a conservative Muslim, a Jew, a Buddhist, and I've trained people from every religion. So this is not a religious thing. But at the time, I had certain preconceived and judgmental type thoughts in my mind about this spiritual realm, right? And even getting involved in the Qi was like, should I really do this? Because maybe this doesn't go with what my beliefs were. But what I did was I did the research, and I'm asking you to do the research too. Don't just take my word for it. Matter of fact, don't take anyone's word for anything when it comes to these types of training. If you take somebody's word and you think they're the guru, the prophet, the person that, you know, it's not, you know, I've run into so many guys that think they're the prophet. They think they're the guru, and they're not. They have issues just like everybody else does. But let's jump into this thing, right? So the dark side of Qi, dark side of Mind Force. Anything that I teach you is a double-edged sword, which means it can be used for healing or it can be used for hurting. Take, for example, dim mak pressure points. You can use pressure points to heal somebody, or you can use them to hurt somebody. Same thing with the energy, same thing with the Mind Force. Hypnotic influence can be used as a way to help somebody. Mindset domination can be used as a way to help somebody, or it could be a way to manipulate somebody in a negative way. So the techniques work both ways. That's the whole idea behind the Mind Force dark side, right? Dark side of, right? Because it allows you to understand. And here's the thing. In order for me to teach you how to combat the dark side, I have to teach you the techniques that the dark side will use against you. And it's one of those things that freaks people out, because it's like, you know, you're always so positive. And really, I am. I'm about healing. I'm about love. I'm about putting that energy out that's going to get you the best results back. But I also have the other side of me that understands that there's a dark side. There's a light and dark to everything. If you look at the yin and yang symbol, you can see that there's light and dark in everything. There is good and there is bad, and there is good and there is evil in this world. A lot of people don't want to really face that because it's a reality and it's uncomfortable, right? But I mean, just look at the news, look at what's going on in the world right now. Look at what happens locally wherever you live. Murders, chaos, right? It happens. Now, why does that happen, right? Some of you are like, why can't we all get along, right? And the fact of the matter is this is a spiritual battle. And I'm not going to go into that great detail on a spiritual battle, because if you really want to get into this, you're going to have to go into the dark side course, because I'm not going to just teach this, because this is really under the covers type stuff. This is the closed door. I teach closed door chi, which you won't get to that unless you go to the inner circle first. And I've got several people going through the closed door right now, but you don't get to it unless you go through the inner circle first. And that's the next layer of chi. That's the advanced stuff that I don't talk about. And the dark side is one of those things that I decided to talk about because everyone runs into it. And as a spiritual being, our body is a shell. And one of these days, the shell's going to be gone. My shell, your shell. But the spirit remains. Now, a lot of times people, and here's what I notice. A lot of times I talk to somebody, whether it doesn't matter what religious background they're from, whether it's Christian, whether it's Buddhist, Muslim, right? Whether it's Jewish, doesn't matter. They have this concept of the spirit, but it's a concept that is not real to them. Oh yeah, we get the spirit, we get the soul. But the reality is, and if you understand this one concept, everything that I'm going to talk to you about today is going to make sense. Might not like it, but it'll make sense. Because I don't ever come to these topics from the standpoint of I know everything, because certainly I don't. But I always research and I always look into things. And so the fact of the matter is, your spirit. Your body is your container, your shell. And one of these days, the shell's going to be gone. Just like you drive a car, you're inside the car. One of these days, the car's gone. You're outside of the car. Well, your spirit, your soul, is the same thing. It's going to go somewhere. Where's it going to go? Right? It's interpreted heaven, hell. But is that a reality? It's up for interpretation as to what that means. Some people think we're already in heaven or we're already in hell. So again, you've got all these mixed things, but I'm going to give you a realistic presentation of what that means as it relates to this dark-sided energy and how you can combat against it, because it's really important that you understand how these things work, because they're really the things. And of course, obviously I teach a lot of esoteric training, and the dark side is just one of them. Everything that I teach integrates so that you can understand better how to thwart dark-sided attacks, people that are trying to manipulate you in any number of ways, because it happens, right? And so how to defend against the insidious threat of dark-sided attacks. This is the page that gives you all the information on the dark side. And you should go through it and read it, because maybe it's something you want to investigate. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But you're a spirit. You're a soul. So if you're a spirit and a soul, doesn't it stand to reason that people could mess with you mentally, physically, spiritually? Do you believe in demons? Do you believe in entities? And again, this is a controversial subject. I almost feel like that I don't even want to bring it up, because it makes people uncomfortable. In fact, my own dad, my father, is, if you mention the word ghosts to him, he gets freaked out. So I don't know what happened in his life that he gets freaked out over that. but he does. But when you realize that all of these energies kind of commingle in this world, and there's all these planes of existence. It's funny, people email me and say, can you define these planes of existence? How can I define them? They're really not definable. Because, see, here's the thing, is that, you're in this shell, you have a spirit, the shell doesn't want the spirit to leave. Now, many of you may experience lucid dreaming, astral projection, out-of-body experiences. You probably do it every night. And yet your body wants to retain the spirit. The spirit goes out and the body wants to retain it. So when you're lucid, when you're awake, your body wants to retain the spirit. It's just a natural type of thing. And that's why it's so hard to do an out-of-body experience, because it's not an easy let go for the body, right? It's just not. But the spirit, once the spirit can get the body relaxed down enough, like in sleep, spirit flies out. That's the way it goes. So starting with that concept, the dark side is someone or something that is trying to manipulate you in a negative way. And I go through, are you awakened, right? The world has changed over the last couple years. And I don't think it's changed for the better. Now, it's yet to be seen where this ends up. But right now, we're in more of a state of control than we've ever been in ever, due to a factor that y'all know about that happened a couple years ago, which you can read about on the page. And some of you are going to read it and go, that's conspiracy. That's this or that. But guess what? All you got to do is wake up and pay attention to what's going on, and you realize what's true and what's not true. And see, that's really ultimately what I want you to understand in this video, is I want you to understand and be able to discern between truth and things that aren't true based on research and based on taking a non-judgmental approach. It's hard to do that because we all have certain concepts in our mind and our body or spirit that we believe in. And to look at those concepts and maybe say, you know what, maybe that's not real. Maybe those concepts aren't really real. It takes a strong man or woman to be able to take a look at the facts and go, yeah, you know what? Something's wrong. Something's not good. This smells the wrong way. Smells rotten. But here's the thing. So anyway, so with the dark side, you've got many different types of manipulation. You've got physical manipulations. Obviously, somebody can attack you and hurt you physically. But you've got mental manipulation. I teach that. My book, Manipulation, The Master Secrets of Covert Persuasion, Hypnotic Influence, is all about manipulating people. But I always do it in the right way. It's a win-win. I always look at it as a win-win. But however, there are people that can manipulate you. It's not a win-win. It's a win-lose, which means they win, you lose. A lot of people like that. Witches, warlocks, people that have dark energy. There is a light and a dark to the energy. I've trained people in both. Those that go to the dark side, kind of like the Star Wars thing, right? They go to the dark side. They don't come back, a lot of them. Probably 99% of them. But it's there, it's real. And if you understand how the energy works, you can conceptualize that. But the energy is neither positive or negative. It's neither evil or bad. It's how you use it. Just like a gun. Like I always tell people, I keep this in my desk and it's loaded, and that's a big gun. And this gun could kill someone. It could protect someone, or it could just sit in the desk. It's neutral. until it's actually used. But it doesn't, guns are not bad. It's the people that wield the guns that determine what that situation is. That gun does nothing without me in my mind actually using it. And so if you really want to protect yourself from psychic, spiritual, mental manipulation, as well as demonic manipulation, now that freaks a lot of people out because they think, yeah, I could get somebody trying to, manipulate me, but demonic, how can that be real? And the thing is this, if you're a spirit, doesn't it make sense that there are dark spirits and light spirits?
Playing from a tongue.
That's my Alexa always going off. But how do you protect yourself? Is you've got to learn and understand all the concepts that go into that. And the concept is that you're a soul. And so if you have a soul, your soul can be adversely affected by entities, demons, curses, soul contracts. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Which means a soul contract is simply, let me adjust my thing here. Hopefully that didn't ruin the sound too much. Is a soul contract is something that you may have signed unwillingly in a past life. And it is extended to this life. And so you have a soul contract of a certain type of situation. You could be cursed. Your family could be cursed from hundreds of years ago. It's possible. How do you remove these curses? How do you remove these things? Right? If you look at some of the wealthiest families in the world, you realize that there's a common denominator. I won't tell you what that is, but they have something going on. It's good or bad. I'll let you decide. I know what the answer is. And so your soul, when we look at the dark side, can be attacked so many different ways. So for example, my mother was mentally ill. She was an alcoholic and also mentally ill, paranoid schizophrenic. Now at the time, before she passed, I was getting started in the chi, but I didn't really understand the spiritual aspect. Had I known that, I would have really understood that it was a dark side attack, that were these entities or demons were attacking her, and that this was a big part of her mental illness. Maybe not all of it, but a big part of it. And the same thing is true with many of you. You feel like you're being attacked. Now, there's ways to protect yourself from being attacked so that you don't have to deal with it. It's not an easy comeback. It's like being attacked by anything. If you get an infestation in your house of rats or mice or roaches or fleas or any other kind of infestation, a pest, you've got to eradicate it. You've got to remove it. It's not always easy. Right? It's not always easy at all. And yet, sometimes we don't look at these two things. So how could you be attacked? Well, number one thing is entities, spirits, they're around. If you believe in spiritual, then you've got to believe that there are entities that are going from place to place. A lot of these entities don't even know that they're dead. Some of them are demonic. Some of them are past and they're former serial killers or murderers. So what kind of energy do you think they're going to put off? And if they happen to come by you, they could attach themselves to you. Some people would call that possession. And you'd be surprised how many people have entities and these demons around them. Mentally ill, alcoholics, drug addicts, people who are depressed, people who are into weird sexual things, perversions, porn, a number of things. Probably, I'm isolating probably 90% of the people on this call, if not 100%, because we all run into these things, right? And so when you expose yourself, a window or a door opens for these spirits, entities to come in and cause havoc in your life. But there are ways to protect yourself so that you don't have to deal with that. And it's like this, guys, is that you take a shower or a bath every day, you eat every day. Doesn't it make sense that you would clean your spirit every day? You would make sure that it's protected, that it's clean, the energy's clean, and that it will allow you to get the desires of your heart. A lot of times when I counsel with people on abundance issues, it's really a dark side issue. Their energy is gray at best. So how do you expect to attract the things you want if your energy is in a hazy state? If you've ever watched my video on how I talk about how the energy works with the mind, that's how it works. So you have these entities and they're all around, but you have to learn how to dismiss them, to command them to leave your life so that you can be engaged in what you want to accomplish. Now, here's the thing, like I said, it's a continual cleaning process. This is not a one-time clean. You're not just going to clean your house one time of these things and then you're done. It's not the way it works, because it's just like all of this stuff that's circulating around. How do you keep it at bay? You've got to continually and consciously remove it, rebuke it, command it to leave, eradicate the pests. It's not one pest treatment and they're done. I wish it were that way, but it's not. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit some ideas to give you a concept of what this is about. You know, if you're tired of being manipulated by people, entities, whatever, who use their powers to control you, then this is a way, combined with the energy, with the mind force, to get that upper level protection. Because if you don't like the idea of somebody controlling your mind, then this is for you. We've all been controlled. Don't think that you haven't been, because you have been. And I do the research and I look back and I look forward and I see what's going on currently. And I understand that there's a manipulation that's been going on for quite some time. And I choose not to participate in it. However, that doesn't mean that I'm not affected by it, because everybody's affected by it. People can't control your thoughts. They've been doing it your entire life. And maybe you don't believe it, but that doesn't mean that it's not true. You don't have to believe in gravity, by the way. You don't. But if you jump off your roof or off a building, you'll prove gravity on your way down. See what I'm saying? Just because you don't believe something doesn't mean that it's true. But I'm going to teach you something called the protection vortex method, which is going to allow you to protect your mind, your body, your spirit against these types of attacks. Does that mean it's going to be easy peasy? No, you're going to have to put in the flight time. It's going to be a daily and regular cleaning. It's not just you clean once and you're good to go. It's just like your house. You clean your house one time? I mean, I look at my office here, my studio, and I'm constantly dusting it, cleaning it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe there's so much more dust here. It's because it keeps coming back. And so I have to clean it again. And this concept, if you understand it, will make sense to you. You got to keep cleaning your soul, moving the bad energy out. That's why in a lot of my meditations, I'm removing those concepts of fear, anxiety, anger, and doubt, because they'll creep back in. They have a way of doing that. If you have a way of cleaning it, you release them. It's called breathe, release, and let go. That's one concept. Freebie for you. And so that's really what the dark side is about, is giving you tools. And this is not for the weak of heart. But many of you are going to be like ostriches, and you're going to just put your head in the sand and try to avoid even identifying, oh, I don't really have an issue, but yet you do. The first way that you can build and become better is the identification that there's an issue, that there's a challenge, a problem that you need to eradicate. Once you identify that, then you can move on, because you can get the tools to get it done. It's 6.5 hours of in-depth training. And like I said, you can go through the page and see all the stuff we're going to learn. And I'm going to have a bonus class where you can ask questions. And this is the answer for you to fight back. I don't know of anything else out there on the market that's as in-depth as this one is, but it's for you to get better. Now, here's the thing, is that I want you to clean yourself. I want you to be clean. I don't want you to have to deal with these situations. You can defend against these insidious attacks if you understand how to do them. And I'm going to teach you step by step exactly. And there's a lot of, when you go through this page, there's going to be a lot of weird stuff. Probably more strange than what I usually teach. But this stuff is out there. And some of you will even look at this and go, oh, that's not real. Well, like I said, it's like gravity. You don't have to believe it. That doesn't mean that it's not real. Because if you meditate and you go back into your life and you recognize things that have gone on and you really link them up, you'll understand that this has been happening to you your entire life. And when things have gone bad, there's probably been a reason. When things go good, there's probably a reason, right? Once we understand inside of our mind, our body, our spirit, that we are in control, and that the things that happen to us in our life are largely because of us, because of the moves we've made, because of the commitments we've made, because of the decisions we've made. That's why we are where we are, wherever we are, whether it's successful, not successful, whether in a bad relationship or a good relationship, you determine it. That's a tough pill to swallow for most people, because we like to blame. We like to be able to say it's the government, it's my family, it's my parents, it's my teachers. No, it's not. It's you. But I'm going to give you the tools that you can use that will allow you to get access to something that's truly unique. And it's something you're not going to be able to learn anywhere else. Now, when you combine it with the Qi, quantum Qigong, and the mindset domination, this becomes an atomic bomb of power that allows you to be a controller at a different level, because now you're keeping your soul clean. You're keeping your spirit activated at the highest level so that you can now get to the highest level, because now you don't have a lot of this dirty energy and mind and spirit. So you can be cleaner. It doesn't mean you're going to be clean all the time. You go out and you play in the dirt a little bit, you can come back and clean yourself. I'm going to teach you the techniques to do that. And when I first created this, I didn't even want to release it, because I only really taught these things to my private mentoring clients and my advanced closed door students. But the reason I brought it out is I realized is that you need to know this. And I'm sharing it with you. If you want to take advantage of it, certainly do that. If you don't, that's totally cool as well. But I wanted to give you a little background on the dark side of Qi and mindset and spirit and why it works, how it works. And, if it's something that resonates with you, I highly recommend it. If not, that's totally cool. Anyway, I wanted to share this. I've enjoyed sharing this information with you. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day. So long.